Hello.
Hey Ben, how's it going?
Going good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you all right. I hope that everybody on the stream can hear you too. If they can't, they'll just have to turn up their volume and deal with it.
How's it going, man? Nice to meet you.
It's going great, and likewise.
All right. Well, just kind of get started here. I guess before we previously discussed about just working on Zerg vs. Zerg this time, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I guess let's just jump right into it. What sort of builds are you opening with at the moment, Zerg vs. Zerg?
All right. Well, let me go ahead and state for the record that in general, I feel completely hopeless in this matchup. I don't really know how I should be opening, and I don't really know how I should be transitioning. So I've been doing kind of a lot of experimenting. I've been going. Sometimes I'll try to go 14-13 gas pool into Banes. Sometimes I'll try to go 13 pool into Roaches. Sometimes I'll try to fast, like on a lot of maps, I would prefer to fast expand, like on Temple and even on Metalopolis, where I've got kind of a choke that I can defend. But
Yeah.
But in general, I'm just clueless, man. I don't really know where I should be starting, and I sure as hell don't know how to finish. So I'm just, I'm completely naked in this matchup right now.
I see. All right. Well, the kind of three openings that I like to use Zerg vs. Zerg. One, as you said before, like maps like Lost Temple, Metalopolis, maps where your expansion basically blocks your main.
Mm-hmm.
I typically like to open a 15 hatchery first, expand. And yeah, there's a lot of advantages to this build. It kind of just jumpstarts your economy, and it's believe it or not extremely safe against any sort of opening other than obviously extremely early pool openings like a 6 pool, 8 pool, things like that. You're gonna end up losing to, but
Right.
People aren't gonna be generally opening 6 or 8 pool because the more common opening would be something like you said before, a 14 pool or 14 gas, 14 pool, which all can hold off 6 pools, 8 pools,
Right.
and start with an advantage. So I mean, do you have any experience with just like 15 pool or 15 hatchery expand openings?
Yeah, that's how I would prefer to play every matchup. But there's a lot of maps where you can't get away with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like on Temple and on Metalopolis, I'm gonna fast expand almost every time. But other maps, it's not so easy. And even still, there's a lot of builds that can really kind of ruin your day even if you do fast expand somewhere that it's kind of safe to get away with.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a really hopeless, lost feeling I have. Like I don't really know what I'm looking for when I'm scouting, other than when does he get his gas, and I sure as hell don't know what units I'm supposed to be making through the mid game. Like right now, it just feels like a roach fest.
Yeah, and that's generally what it's going to be. Typically, roaches and speedlings are, for the most part, you have to have either baneling and speedling or roaches. Like you can't just open straight speedling into lair because there's too many weaknesses there.
Okay.
So yeah, typically the more kind of a solid generic build that I like to open with, other than hatchery first, would just be 14 gas, 14 pool, speedling, baneling. And most people think, oh, speedling, baneling, well, that's easily countered by any sort of a roach opening.
Right.
But you don't actually have to go speedling, baneling once you scout roaches.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you do this, but typically want to scout with your first 2 zerglings, run inside their main. If you see a roach one, you go ahead, just cancel the baneling nest, pull your drones off gas, and then speedling versus roach opening, you gain map control, and you get an economy advantage, because by scouting him that early, it allows you to pull your drones off gas, get a 5 or 6 drone advantage, and then go tech to later roaches with a lair. And so you gain map control. It's safe. because if he were to try to move out with slow roaches that early on, you'd just send your Zerglings into his main, kill all his drones, and then hold off the counter with some spine crawlers, maybe a few roaches and some speedlings. It doesn't really matter.
One of the things I really struggle with is when to stop making drones and when to start building units.
I see. Well, Zerg vs. Zerg, you know, it's extremely hard to kind of tell when to drone and when you can't drone compared to the other matchups, just because due to the mobility of Zerg, it's so easy to punish a Zerg for over droning, you know, especially with like a Hatchery first build or something. So a lot of that has to do with what you scout. You always need to have overlords placed within like scouting their army, like their numbers, their composition, and then you kind of just have to react to that. Yeah, and then the last kind of build that I open is just a straight Roach opening. You know, like I said before, it's kind of you get put in a disadvantage for opening straight Roaches due to the Speedling opening, but on certain close maps, like Steps of War, Delta Quadrant, Zerg vs. Zerg, it's okay to just open Roach because the travel time between bases is so small that they can't really gain too much of an advantage safely. Like, they can't over-drone as much as you would on a map like Metalopolis ZvZ if you open Speedling, Bane, you know, just due to the distance between the bases.
Okay, that makes sense. So, what do you want to do now?
Alright, first off, I'm just going to go over one of the builds with you. Just a straight Roach opening.
Okay.
I'm going to walk you through it 2 times, and then I'm going to have you test it out against me.
Alright.
Alright, so this first one's just a 14 pool, 14 gas. Like I said before, I like to do it on maps like this, Steps of War, just because of the close positions between bases. Sometimes if you go 14 gas, 14 pool on a map like this, you're still kind of vulnerable to 6 pools. You can take a lot of damage from that. You know, not always, but this is much less risky.
In the case of, like, you know, any ladder game here, are you gonna scout on like 9 on a map like Steps or Delta Quadrant?
I actually don't drone scout, and the reason is because you're not really going to see anything worth seeing until their Zerglings are actually out, in which case you would not, you know, he could just deny you scouting. You know, you can scout gas timings, which do help, but you can scout the same thing with just Zerglings, your first few Zerglings as they pop, so it's better just stick on the mining time.
Okay.
The one time I would drone scout, like a 9 drone scout, is if I'm going Hatchery first, and that's to see if your opponent is going Hatchery first, because then there's a lot of changes that can be made there. Cool. But, yeah, typically if you're just going to pool first opening, I wouldn't drone scout.
Alright.
Alright, so go ahead, go 14 pool.
I can do that in just a second.
Yeah. Another important thing to note is if you ever go a pool first build, you can't expand until you have Roach speed, which is at layer tech. So it leaves you too vulnerable to like a +1 attack, burrow Roach speed timing attack. And so there's no safe way of expanding off of that.
How far do I drone now that I've got my
drone to
cooldown?
15,
Okay.
and then make an overlord.
Three in gas.
Yep. Now, Zerg vs. Zerg, you really want to place your overlords along the pathways between bases to scout for like Baneling positioning, see when they're moving out, and also to help your Roach timing attack later by dropping creep. Alright, go ahead and make your Queen's Nest and make a Roach Warren, because you've scouted the entrance between bases with your Overlord, you know that if he was 6-pulling, it would have hit by now.
Mm-hmm.
So you can feel free to just make that Roach Warren and then start making your Zerglings. So go ahead and make Zerglings up to 19 supply. So yeah, just the first 6 Zerglings. Place them at the foot of or the top of your ramp, and then make a drone at 19 supply. And now you're going to make an Overlord.
So I'm not scouting with these lings?
You want to scout with the first 2, so just send 2 out, but leave the other 2 back. And typically this will also have to do with their Zergling positioning as well. I'm going to try and not get caught. A lot of times you can... Alright, yeah, go ahead and make 6 Roaches and no more. A lot of times you can tell if they're going Ling Baneling due to their Zergling positioning. If they're going Ling Baneling, it's usually going to be very aggressive. You're going to be, running them to the middle of the map, fighting for positioning. And if they're going Roach, it's generally going to be some sort of a defensive position, like at the top of your ramp, like you're doing.
Right.
All right. So yeah, 6 Roaches, and then make 1 Overlord at 32 supply. Right now. And the reason why I do 6 Roaches is because against Baneling Bust, you need to be hold positioning Roaches on your ramp, and so if you can split 3 and 3 to make 2 separate walls and take less splash damage, works out much better.
Okay.
So yeah, just make two rows of 3 Roaches on your ramp, and now you want to start droning, start your lair tech, and take your second Vespian Geyser all at the same time, and then make an evolution chamber. Now the timing that you're going for is basically a timing that's going to prevent him from expanding before layer tech as well. So go ahead and take your second gas and then make an evolution chamber. Yeah. And so if he were to be expanding right now, you wouldn't even pressure. You'd just sit back, wait, and know that the timing attack you're about to do would just eventually kill that off. So go ahead, just keep droning.
Okay.
Because you have scouting positioning, you're immune to any sort of Ling Baneling bus this early, because you have the Overlord placement, and so the only thing that he could really do to pressure you would be some sort of a Roach rush, but because he would be attacking before Roach speed, you'd have more than enough time to react to it, so you just want to keep droning for now. Start +1 range attack, and yeah, go ahead and make an Overseer. You're going to use this to contaminate the hatchery, slow down his timings, and scout for a spire as well. So now go ahead. You see the Roaches are moving up. You can kind of put your Roaches at the top of your ramp in better positioning, kind of in a concave. You'd only want to keep them in that sort of a way if he was going Roach Baneling. All right, and now you want to research Roach speed and then start producing Roaches.
Okay.
So Roach speed, go ahead, scout with the Overseer and contaminate the hatchery. And then with your next 100 Vespian, you're going to research Burrow.
All right.
And so from now until the timing attack hits, you're only going to be making Roaches, and then with any excess minerals, drones.
Oh, that's a change.
Okay. Yeah.
Whoops.
It's all right. Yeah, contamination, it's something you're definitely going to want to start using ZvZ.
All right.
That first Overlord is really important. Did you see the Hydra vs. Xenio games?
I did. That was pretty nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not sure what I'm building right now. Am I building Roaches?
Just Overlords and Roaches, yeah.
Okay.
You want to, until all 3 upgrades are finished, you're just going to be producing Roaches at this point.
Okay. And this is just a big one-base timing push.
Yep. And then you're going to expand at the same time that you are pressuring with this attack. So as those 3 upgrades finish, just going to go ahead and move out, expand at the same exact time.
So I'm starting Tunneling Claws as soon as speed finishes?
No tunneling claws.
Just burrow, attack, and speed.
Typically, because both players are going Roaches, ZvZ, there's going to be burrow, and so they're going to have Overseers, so there's no real point in trying to move around like that. The heal just perfectly fine with
so now
burrow.
we push.
Alright, yep, push, take your expansion, and just start kind of trickling in some drones to help